You know that feeling, right? You've got the perfect plan, the best team, but somehow the project still goes completely off the rails. It happens all the time. Well, today we're going to talk about how artificial intelligence is changing that whole game. And we're not just talking about another tool, but a true partner, an intelligent digital assistant for your projects.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into the project failure trap. Why are so many things going wrong? Then we'll meet your new AI assistant. After that, we'll explore its superpowers, predicting, assigning, and protecting. We'll also see how this gives precious time back to your team. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a look at the intelligent project dashboard where all this magic happens.
Okay, let's kick things off with a problem that, well, anyone who's ever managed a project knows all too well. We call it the project failure trap. And here's the crazy part. Even with all the new software and fancy methodologies we've come up with over the years, managing complex work hasn't gotten any easier. In fact, you could argue it's actually gotten way harder.
Get ready for this number because it's a bit of a gut punch. Only about 35% of projects using traditional methods are actually considered successful. Just let that sink in for a second. That means almost 2/3 of the time, teams are missing their goals, going way over budget, or just plain late. This isn't a minor hiccup, folks. This is a huge, systemic problem.
So how did we get here? I mean, the tools have definitely gotten better, right? We moved on from those old-school manual Gantt charts to cool collaborative cloud tools like Jira or Trello. But here's the thing. There was always a catch. Even with these better tools, they were still totally dependent on humans to feed them information, to manually enter data and try to connect all the dots. What we're seeing now, in the AI era, is a massive shift from just reacting to problems to actually getting ahead of them. So why aren't these newer tools cutting it? Well, it's because information is everywhere. It's scattered across Slack channels, Jira tickets, emails, regulatory documents, you name it. There's just no way a single human being, no matter how brilliant, can process all of that information in real time. They can't see how a small technical bug, a weird team dynamic, and a new compliance rule are all about to collide and create, a total project disaster. And that right there brings us to the solution, the AI assistant. Now, it's really, really important to get this next part right. This is not about replacing project managers. Not at all. Think of it more like an incredibly smart, proactive co-pilot for the entire team. So, what is this AI assistant exactly? In simple terms, it's a software agent that uses machine learning and predictive analytics to take over all the boring, repetitive, time-sucking parts of managing a project. It's always on, always analyzing data, flagging risks, suggesting what to do next, and handling all those routine updates. And the result? It frees up the actual human beings on the team to do what they do best, the creative, strategic, big-picture thinking. And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. It shows you exactly what this new partnership looks like. You've got the AI assistant handling all the heavy lifting, the data crunching, the predictive stuff, the tedious scheduling. And what does that do for the human project manager? It elevates them. Their job shifts away from admin work and towards high-value stuff like strategy, coaching the team, managing stakeholders, and creative problem-solving. All the uniquely human skills that AI just can't touch. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What can this digital assistant actually do? Well, it really boils down to three main superpowers. It can predict, it can assign, and it can protect your projects. So, first up, predicting deadlines. It uses a ton of data to forecast timelines, with an accuracy that honestly no human could ever match. Second, assigning tasks. It doesn't just create a to-do list, it intelligently orchestrates the work, making sure the right task goes to the right person based on their skills and workload. And finally, protecting from errors. It acts like a sentinel, a guardian for your project, catching risks early before they blow up into major crises.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. Timelines aren't just dates on a calendar, they're promises. And that's so true, right? When you miss a deadline, you're breaking a promise. Trust goes down, costs go up, it's a mess. And that's exactly why getting these predictions right is so incredibly important.
So, you might be wondering, how in the world can an AI predict delays with over 90% accuracy? Well, it's not magic, it's just a massive amount of data. The system literally analyzes thousands of past projects to find what we call failure signatures. These are the tiny, subtle patterns that a person would almost always miss, things in communication logs or code check-ins that signal trouble ahead. And, the best part, it's always learning and recalculating in real time. So if one little task slips by a single day, the AI immediately recalculates the impact on the entire project timeline.
instantly.
And all of this amazing predictive power flows right into that second superpower we talked about, protection. Seriously, the best way to think about it is like a sentinel, a guardian that literally never sleeps. It's on duty 24/7, constantly scanning every single piece of your project for the earliest signs of trouble.
So how does this Sentinel actually protect things? Well, it does it in a few key ways. First, there's anomaly detection. It's looking for anything that seems weird or out of the ordinary in the data, like a sudden jump in spending that could signal a problem. Then, there's something called agentic AI, which is basically a team of specialized digital agents, each one assigned to watch over a specific risk area, like technical debt or regulatory changes. And finally, it just automates a lot of the routine paperwork and reporting, which gets rid of those simple human errors that can end up being surprisingly costly.
Okay, so all this technology is really cool for sure. But what does it all add up to? It all leads to one simple but incredibly profound and very human benefit, giving people back their time.
And we're talking about a lot of time. Some studies are showing that by next year, professionals could save around 4 hours every single week just by using AI like this. That's half a workday, every week, just handed back to you.
And hold on, because that's just the start. If we look out about 5 years, that number is expected to triple to 12 hours a week. Think about that for a second. That's more than a day and a half's worth of boring administrative work just gone. Lifted right off your team's shoulders every single week.
So the big question is, what are people actually doing with all this extra time? Well, they're investing it in things that matter. About a quarter of them are focusing on work-life balance, hobbies, family, just plain old rest. Others are pouring that time into high-value client work or innovating on cool new projects. And that's the real story here. AI isn't just about making work faster. It's about making work better, more meaningful, and frankly, more human.
All right, so where do you actually see all of this intelligence? How do you interact with it? Well, it all comes together in one place, the Intelligent Project Dashboard.
Now, forget about those old static dashboards that were just a page full of charts you never looked at. A modern AI-powered dashboard is a living, breathing thing. It takes all of that complicated data from all those different sources and pulls it together into a single, super clear interface. It's basically the command center, the cockpit for your entire project.
And these dashboards are where you see the AI smarts in action. You get these simple, color-coded widgets that show you a project's health at a glance. You get resource heat maps, so you can actually see who's overworked and prevent burnout before it happens. But maybe the coolest feature of all? You can just talk to it. You can literally ask it a question in plain English, like, hey, which of my projects are in danger of missing their third quarter deadline? And boom, you get an instant, data-driven answer.
So this all brings us to one last big question. We've seen how AI can predict, assign, and protect our projects. We've seen how it gives us back our most precious resource, our time. As AI gets better and better at handling the how of project management, it frees us, the humans, up to focus on the much bigger questions like why are we doing this and what should we do next. So the real question isn't just about what AI can do for us. It's about what new strategic heights we can reach now that we have it as a partner.